What is up, everybody? Welcome to Ginger Runner Live. This is episode number 21. We are now legally allowed to drink, which means I will drink some IPA today. Oh my God, you guys, today's episode, probably the best episode because we get to celebrate an amazing accomplishment by one of my guests, one of my friends, Sally McRae. Finished Western States 100 on Saturday, or early Sunday, in 10th place females. Unbelievable accomplishment, and she is joining us on tonight's show with Mr. Billy Yang, who is filming the whole thing. This is going to be an epic show. I hope you guys are ready for some epic Ginger Runner Live. Ginger Runner. Yay!
Yay! Yay! Yay!
Yay!
I missed you guys.
Sally, I don't miss you because we saw so much of it this weekend.
I know.
In some really tough spots, some really great spots, some highlights. I have to say that I gotta hold on. Okay, I gotta do this. There we go. I had to do it. I haven't done it yet.
What are you
Great,
drinking?
and the phone is ringing. And the phone is ringing, of course. This is Caldera IPA. It's from Ashland, Oregon. It's what I was drinking.
Pretty can.
Thank
Love
you.
the colors.
Thank you. I have to celebrate myself because I was crew chief, and so I'm celebrating myself for the rest of today's show. For an hour, it's just all about me. Just kidding.
Absolutely should. No, you are an incredible crew chief. So I will toast to you. So cheers, Ethan.
What is that? Hydration?
With it is emergency.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of vitamins, electrolytes, and water.
Yeah, man.
Brilliant. Look at that.
That's smart.
So
I'm actually
cheers
really
to crew chief.
Cheers to all of us. Well, specifically, cheers to Sally McRae. We are joined by Miss Yellow Runner herself, Sally McRae. For those of you who were not following me on Twitter or Facebook this weekend or on Instagram, Signal was also really scatty, so I wasn't updating as much as I'd like. Sally McRae is one of the best female ultra runners in the world by placing 10th at Western States. It was an amazing accomplishment. We were there crewing her. Billy was filming the whole thing. Today we're going to be talking with her about what was going on the trail during these sections that we didn't get to see her because we only got to see her at very specific aid stations, and we'll talk about those on tonight's show. If you're watching live, jump in the chat room if you have questions. I know that Billy's looking through the chat room. He'll be able to ask questions on the fly because there's so much information and so much talking that I know that I'm going to want to get across because Sally did something pretty damn incredible this weekend. You earned your belt buckle, Sally. You absolutely earned it. How do you feel today? You were 2 days out from running 100 miles. We barely slept all weekend, about 48 hours, if not more, without sleep. Did you sleep last night? I mean, how do you feel? You look like you're totally happy, totally good to go.
Oh, I'm so happy. I'm just so happy to have it done. Really, I think it's like any big event that we lead up to, with like having a baby or getting married. It's like you plan and plan and plan and plan, and in this case, I trained and anticipated, and the taper was so long. That I'm happy just with the event being done. So mentally, I feel like I can rest.
Yeah.
Physically, I feel okay. I'm healing well already. Last night, you're right, was the first time that I actually slept for longer than 3 hours. Friday night, I only got a few hours of sleep. Obviously, I didn't sleep at all on Saturday. And then we didn't get home from the airport last night. What time we all get home, guys? Like 1. 1 o'clock. So all of us, I mean, the whole crew, I mean, it was an endurance race for all of us. I mean,
yeah.
I just had to run. The crew, I mean, Ethan, you were incredible. I couldn't ask for a better crew chief, and you were fully focused on me the entire weekend. You know, as soon as we stepped off that plane, whether you're taking my suitcase or let's get to the store and get what we need, or, you know, let's go over this one more time, Sally, come on, like, what do you want for this station? I mean, you guys were incredible. So, yeah, it's nice, I think, for all of us to finally like take a vacation, a few days break from that, And then next Monday, we'll start planning for 2015 because we're going back.
We're going back. Part of being top 10 at Western, one of the benefits of being top 10 at Western is that you get an automatic invitation to run it again next year. And I have footage. I'm going to be showing a little bit of rough footage from that I shot this weekend. Billy has, and I can't even imagine how many insane hours of footage Billy has accumulated that he's going to be editing together into a film. We'll make sure that we talk about when that'll happen and stuff like that. But as soon as she crossed that finish line, she was already like, can't wait for 2015. It's like, Sally, take this moment. This is pretty cool. This is about right now. So kind of the roles that people played this weekend. Sally, you say that you only ran. I hate to say it, but running 100 miles is a lot more difficult than anything any of us did. All we had to do was stay awake, really. Just stay awake and make sure that we were where we needed to be at the right time to get you where you needed to go. Even then, sometimes we barely made it, and I have some footage of some moments that we'll talk about in a little bit. I can't say that I was the only person involved in helping Sally out this weekend. It was a whole crew. It was the whole Southern California crew. It was myself, and then Sally had 2 pacers. They were also helping me throughout the day. They couldn't join us tonight because they both have to work, and that's okay because I actually have them here on the show still. Mr. Dave Daly, thank you for joining us, Mr. Dave Daly.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's okay. I'm really happy to help out with the crew.
Dave,
That is
you were
awesome.
fantastic. Dave was the first pacer for Sally, so pace from miles 55 to what, 60?
No, 62 to 80, basically, 79.8.
And it was so much fun. I had so much fun. I'm from Boston.
I love it.
You're so stroking his ego.
He just loves it. He loves it. And the other cog in the machine that is the Sally McRae crew is, of course, Mr. Colin Cooley.
Oh my God.
I'm Colin Cooley. Yeah, I'm Colin. Yeah. That's my best Colin impression. It's terrible. I also don't have a voice because we kept yelling, "Go,
Yes.
Sally, go!" like all weekend. So throughout the show, if you guys have any questions for Mr. Dave Daly or Mr. Colin Cooley, just feel free to ask because they're here in spirit. Okay, let's start at the beginning. And of course, Billy, what was it? I mean, so why were you out there, Billy? I don't want to just sell you short because you were doing something pretty incredible. I want you to be able to talk about it. Go ahead. Can you give us some detail as what brought you to Western and what was your goal there?
I think Sally and I really, we've been talking about this as a dream of ours for one of us to go there for the longest time, and we as a group, collectively. And we've always said, somebody goes, we're all going. We're all going to go there to crew, to pace, to support. And, Ethan, you're definitely part of that conversation. So it was kind of, when Sally, the difference between, I think, us, the boys in the crew, and Sally is that she earned her ticket into states. She punched her ticket by placing second in a Montreal Ultra Cup race. And we were all there, and it was a very emotional, kind of just cathartic experience to see Sally go through that. And, I think just by way of emotional support, mental support, physical support, I just wanted to be there and kind of document her journey to that point. And Western States is basically a culmination of all of that.
It's an honor to be able to go to Western States as a runner. It's an honor to be able to go to Western States as a crew member, because it's a team effort. Like just being there and being able to see Sally run through these aid stations and just smiling and absorbing all that energy and stuff like that. It's such a cool feeling. So it was a pleasure to be there. I didn't care that I had to work. I didn't care that I had to do anything or try to get some sleep in a van. It didn't matter. It was all part of the collective experience. And I'm so happy that our whole crew got a chance to experience that too.
Yeah.
If anyone out there who watching has any aspirations to run Western or is planning on doing it someday or maybe has done it in the past, it's such a cool experience no matter where you are in the team that just do it. If you get the opportunity to go, just do it. It's the oldest 100-mile race. It has some incredible history, and watching all the runners this weekend, there are some amazing stories, and it was so cool to witness and to be able to try to get updates throughout the race of some of the male leaders. Like the whole male top 20 was an insane contest the whole day. Like trying to listen and trying to gauge where people were. So on top of the female race, you have this incredible male race that's going on at the same time, and it was just so cool to like be there and be on the same trail that they're running and kind of know that this stuff is playing out. And so it was really cool to be there. I want to start at the beginning and talk to Sally about kind of the couple days leading up to it. We all flew up to Sacramento to get 2 rental cars and then drive out to Squaw Valley, California, which is just west of Lake Tahoe. So we all get into Squaw on Thursday, so 2 days in advance. Sally, at that point, like, what's going through your head? Are you just trying to focus? Are you trying to relax? Or what is it 2 days before a 100-mile competitive race that's going through your head?
I was trying to relax. I'd say I'm a pretty intense person, and all my goals leading up to the race, the goals that I had for the race, were just on this continual reel in my mind. I was seeing what I wanted to do, and just going over in my head exactly how I was hoping the race would play out, the things that I knew that I needed to get done. So there were times, like, I love our crew. We all train together. We do a lot together. We've done a lot of adventures and races together. So that was very helpful to me because I feel like we just kind of act like family in every single way, and we'll talk about that later. I mean, we generally treat each other like brothers and sisters, so we fight really well, and we laugh really well, and I think that is what helped going into the weekend was, I just had like these guys that love the sport just as much as I do, love the mountains, they understand this race, but at the same time, the whole crew also understood how important it was to me. So I was able to go in and out of that intensity. So Thursday night was just about, okay, I'm going to try and relax, try and get some basic things done. I know Ethan, as my crew chief, like I said earlier, you were on top of everything that needed to be done right away. So, you and I went to the grocery store. What was the grocery store open for, like 7 more minutes when we went in there?
Oh my God, it was awesome. Yeah, we had 5 minutes. We rolled in at 9:55 or closed it at 10.
At 10.
We had to get all of our supplies essentially for like the next 24 hours before you actually started.
And we went racing throughout. And we dropped $100 in 5 minutes and got everything that we needed. And then went back to the condo where we stayed. I think helped too. I mean, it was the spot of the 1960 Winter Olympics, and so you already get this feeling of being in a place where dreams are made. This place where so many athletes work so hard to go to, and I feel like having Western States start there too, it just kind of makes it for a magical place. And you're right in the middle of you're in this bowl with these mountain peaks all around you. It was gorgeous, gorgeous weather, and we were able, our condo was like 120 yards from the start line, and and we could look out our window and look down, and there's Starbucks right there and the pizza place that we ate at. I mean, it was just, and all these runners just buzzing around everywhere, and it was just a perfect atmosphere. So I think that really calmed me once we got there. It was just really trying to take that all in.
It was having never been to Squaw, it was very much like a mini Yosemite. Like you roll into this valley, and you're just surrounded by these big rocky cliffs, and
it was beautiful.
What's normally a ski resort during the winter turns into kind of a summer sports haven. Mountain biking, hiking, trail running, and stuff like that. But on this particular weekend, it's just full of ultra runners, their families, their crews, and the energy is insane. It really is pretty damn cool.
It really was a lot nicer than I would have thought, right? I mean, I walked in there and I was like, whoa. I mean, driving in there was like, holy shit, this is where we're staying and this is where the race is starting. It's cool.
Yeah, so we definitely lucked out with all that. We got this beautiful kind of condo thing that has multiple bedrooms. So because we had like 6 in our party or something, we just needed beds and places for people to sleep for like 1 or 2 nights. So it wasn't we were able to cram people in, but it was perfect. Location was perfect. So the day before the race, Sally, there's the pre-race meeting.
Yeah.
What was going through your head at that point? Because now you're beginning to get details about the race, and they're kind of wishing you well and stuff. What's kind of going through your head?
Leading up to the pre-race meeting, I started to get pretty nervous, but like in a good way. Like for those of you that follow me on social media, I like to share with the community, and the community is so awesome. I do this thing called current heart rate, and really it's just I like to capture things that I think all runners can identify with. And so I'll say, like, this is my heart rate, and it gets higher and higher as it gets closer to the race. And the heart rate really is just showing, like, it's the level of excitement. Like, I'm here. We're counting down to the hours now. So we were walking to this race meeting, and my heart rate was literally like going up, and I'm realizing, oh my gosh, in a matter of hours, I'm going to finally toe the line at one of the biggest races in the world as far as trail running goes, with some of the best ultra runners in the world. And it was nerve-wracking. And I knew, I'd always heard about the pre-race meeting. I'd seen tons of pictures about it, and it was so nice, like, having the crew there, because I was a little nervous, like, walking in. I knew there'd be, like, lots and lots and lots of people, and I think we arrived like a couple minutes late to get a seat. So we ended up, and they had us all huddled into a building. I think sometimes the race is like outside, but they did it inside one of the buildings. So we all went straight to the back, and then we ended up just, like, Colin was really good. He's like, you need to be off your feet. So we sat down on the ground behind all the chairs, and I knew they were going to go over the race meeting, and then they were going to do this live media thing where they're going to have, like, the top 10 runners on each side come up. And I, whether it was I Run Far race predictions, or you kind of get caught up in all the media hype, everyone's predictions, and everyone talking about the top runners and how these people are training. I had completely turned off from engaging with social media. I took Twitter and Facebook off my phone, and I just kind of took a break from all of that. I was very surprised to see that I was included in I Run Far's, I had a paragraph in I Run Far's race prediction. I thought that was really nice, but I was not expecting that at all. So when they called up the top 10 guys, they went through each guy's, race history and their accomplishments and everything, and then they went to the girls. I was not expecting at all.
I actually want to stop you. Want to stop you because I have some footage.
Oh no!
I think the footage will actually do a better job of explaining what you were about to explain.
Okay. All right.
So first of all, the pre-race meeting is a huge event. All the runners, all the crews, everyone goes. And here's kind of the first thing you see when you walk in.
Cool.
It's just loaded. It's loaded with people, crew, and you look around, you're like, oh my God, that's Rob Carr sitting there. That's Dylan Bowman. That's Ian Sharman. Like, those are the elite racers, and they're all staring as you kind of walk in. It's pretty crazy. But then, they bring up what they're predicting could possibly be the top 10 runners that could, place. But as the guy mentioned at the very beginning, before announcing these top 10s, is like each field is about 30 deep. There are 30-plus people who could potentially win, male and female side. So the names that we're about to call up, don't take offense. It just so happens that they either won a spot or, they could potentially place top 10. So they were calling out some of the names, and one of them happened to be Sally.
Sally McRae, Nicole Shooter, Casey Lichting. I didn't say that right, Casey, I'm sorry. Lichting. Gold it is. Stephanie Howe, Natalie Claire, Sally McRae, and Rebecca.
Go for it. Go.
I was in shock.
No idea. She had no idea. What did you feel like? What was going through your head?
Oh my gosh, that made me really nervous at that moment, because you just immediately feel like a ton of pressure. It's like I I knew going into this race what the women's race, what it looked like, the women that I was competing against. And so I was not expecting to be called as, up there for top 10. It was funny though too, because as I was walking up, I was like, well, I always set really big goals for myself. I absolutely wanted for sure to be in the top 10 no matter what. But walking up there, I was like, well, I absolutely have to be in the top 10 now, because this, they're saying that they think that I'm in the top 10. It's what they've predicted, and so you start to kind of like ride that wave of like, oh my gosh, I have all this pressure. Like they think I'm top 10. People are writing that I should be top 10. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you still need to run your own race, and you can't listen to that stuff. So I wanted to take some deep breaths and just like, okay, enjoy this and just smile and just be happy. But we got up there, and I didn't realize, they're going to start going through, okay, these are the races that they've won, and this is what they've done. And I think I was either the first or second person that they talked about. And as they were listing my thing, I guess I was supposed to step forward and like do a wave or whatever.
Right.
And I was so paralyzed by just like the enormous crowd, and that this was really happening. I think it was Natalie next to me. One of the girls next to me was like, Sally, you can go out and wave, like stand out there and wave. And I just kind of lifted my hand, just kind of a little bit shocked, and did a little wave. And then whichever girl was on side of me that had said that, it was her turn next, and she stepped right out, both hands in the air, waving. And I'm like, all right, I guess that's how we're supposed to do it. So I'll take notes for next year. But yeah. I don't know. It just everything becomes so real at that moment. I guess I just have never really considered myself in that lineup. And
you totally deserve it, Sally. You totally deserve it. Come on.
So it was humbling, and I just told myself, just enjoy it, be grateful that to have so many people that believe in you. That's probably the best way that I could take it in that moment. It's like, wow, these people believe in me, and they think that I can do well, and here I am standing in front of them, and that's what I want to do. I want to represent the sport well, and so that was the pre-race day for me. It was a mixture of emotions of trying to be calm, trying to be focused, get everything done, with little bits of some very intense, nervous events, nerve-wracking events. So
for sure. And I want to remind everyone, if you're watching live, if you have questions for Sally, Billy's keeping his eye on the chat and communicating with you guys. So ask away in the chat room. Sally will be talking about Western States, that she got 10th place female for today's show. There's footage that I'm showing. It could be a little choppy. I apologize. The internet, of course, is always really great with me. YouTube, this Hangout thing, always allows the footage to be a little choppy. Hopefully the audio is coming across. That's kind of what I care about the most. But Billy, what's going on in the chat room? What's currently going on in the chat room? What are people saying? Any questions?
One jumped out at me was Jim McGutkin. I'm sorry if I butchered your name.
Yeah, McGutkin.
Said your bib number had some kind of significance. I think that may have been arbitrarily assigned, but Sally, you tell me. Sometimes you can request a bib number, so I don't know if that had any significance or not.
Yeah, Sally.
Did I request my bib number?
Yeah.
Well, somebody asked if there was some significance to that number, and I don't think you chose that. Correct?
No, your bib number is assigned to you.
Okay, okay.
So I was given bib number 37, but I was super excited when I saw that was my number. I was really, really excited because I love both the numbers 3 and 7. I wrote about it, I think, the day before the race. But one of my favorite Bible verses is a cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. And then the number 7 is like the number of completion. And so just realizing like I will not be easily broken and I will complete this race. And it was so telling because there are many times in the race where I felt like I was on the verge of just completely falling apart, but my mind was so set on completing that race that I wasn't going to let anything break me, regardless of how bad I was hurting at times or what was going through my head. So I'm not like superstitious or anything, but I do love. I was stoked to get that number. So that's 37.
I have to do my what's his name? Who's the other ginger from NYPD Blue? And CSI Miami.
David Caruso?
Damn it! I don't have a pair of sunglasses. Sorry, Sally.
Yeah! That
Said,
one?
All right.
Some may say you are unbreakable. You said break. Never mind.
What?
Thank you. Thank you for the who. Chris Stills asked Sally, when was the
I
first
really
time
like that, Billy.
Oh.
That was really funny. Good job,
Thank you.
Billy.
I'm so tired. Sally, when was the first time you hit a wall, and how long did it take to get through it? Did it happen multiple times during the race? That's from Chris Stills.
Okay. I'm trying to think if I really hit a wall. I've hit walls in races pretty bad. I'm on training races. I have. Both Colin and Ethan have been with me when I've hit a wall pretty hard.
You seemed pretty dialed. I will say that.
Yeah.
Every aid station that we saw you, calories and liquids weren't your main focus, except for the first one where you felt
I'd say I hit a wall like mile 98, 99. And the reason why, yeah.
I don't mean to laugh. I really don't.
But I'll tell you why. I think that was probably the absolute lowest, toughest part of the race for me, was because, and this is everyone's nightmare. I had a girl. I was in 9th place for a while. We were hunting. The goal of the race was to run a hard 38 miles at the end, and that was like what I had planned on doing. And so I ran pretty hard. With David, we passed 4 girls, and then with Colin, we passed 2 girls.
I don't want to spoil anything yet.
Which put me in.
Anything.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay, so don't go there.
Don't go there. We'll get to
All
that.
right, I'll just say 98, 99. Earlier in the race, I did something to my knee. There was like this steep section. It was right before we had to climb Devil's Thumb. So like we descended for like 13 miles, and the last part of that 13 miles got really steep and technical, and then we had a river crossing, and I sat in the river for like 5 minutes because I don't think I stepped wrong.
Sorry.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
I promise I'm not ranting. Gosh, my voice is really funky.
We've been screaming all weekend.
Yeah, screaming, and my lungs are just gone, and all that coughing up like crazy. So I was in a lot of pain coming out of the river and up Devil's Thumb, and I think that was probably a part too where I hit a low, because I realized, okay, I now have, and I started limping. I now have to limp for the next, I think it was like 46 miles maybe. No, 56 miles. I realized I had this physical pain, and that was really going to start slowing me down. And I think I dropped back, if anyone was tracking, I think I dropped back to 17th place at that point. So
female, but 96th place overall.
Yeah, I was really far back there.
I mean, so we'll get into actually like specifics and what happened during the race as we now begin to explain race morning and kind of the first little step. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with the Western States 100, here is an elevation profile of the race. So if you're looking at it, the right-hand side is the start line, and it works towards the finish line on the left-hand side. This is an elevation profile. It starts already very high in Squaw Valley, just around 6,200 feet or so, 6,300 feet, and then basically climbs a bunch and descends throughout the total amount of the race, almost down to 2,100 feet or 20, like what does it say, 2,000 feet. So you descend quite a bit. You look at that and go, oh, well, it's a downhill race. But the reality is, as Sally was explaining, right in the middle there's a huge drop down off of Devil's Thumb into El Dorado Creek and then back up to Michigan Bluff. That section is one of the most brutal sections because you have to climb to the top of Devil's Thumb, then go down into the creek, and then back up into Michigan Bluff. That's right in the middle. So you've already run 50 miles at that point, and you have some incredible climbing in extremely hot conditions. This particular year it was hot, but from what racers have said, it's been hotter in the past, but it's still hot.
Heat was not an issue.
Yeah, I believe that.
It's still, I mean, but the reality is, it's still like 85 degrees, 85 or 90 degrees. And then in the canyons, it's 95 or 100 degrees. But these athletes have been training for like 110, 120 degrees. So it's hot for humans. It's still very hot down there, and it still plays its role, dehydrating you, taking salt into the equation and stuff like that. So that's the course. Here, you start at 5 a.m. Here is the start line. Basically, here is the start to the Western States 100. This is at 5 a.m. on Saturday morning.
Watch out, Ethan! Let's go, Jesse! Nice job, guys.
I don't know if you actually get to see.
Have fun! Woo!
Oh, there she goes.
Aww.
Have fun, guys! Have a blast! Enjoy it! Have fun, runners! Woo! Way to go, guys! Have fun!
I thought Katie's too happy.
Yeah, man. Go, Dean!
So 399 people started the race. I'm not quite positive on how many actually officially finished under the 30-hour cutoff, but that start line starts at the bottom of Squaw and climbs 4 miles. That's about 3,000 feet of elevation, I believe, roughly that, to the top, the escarpment. So you have a 4-mile climb at the very beginning of the race. Now, Sally, what was going through your head at this point? Had you started forming strategy? Like, did you want to run it? Did you want to climb it slowly, or what was going through your head?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question, because in retrospect, it's hard. Like, you play a gamble when my goal is to race. Like, my goal is not just to complete the race. Like, number one goal, of course, for anyone racing is to win. And then you do your BC and so on. Completing it is like low on the goal list. That's an for me, I know is an absolute. You complete it no matter what. So I knew going into that race, like right there at that start line, I'm either gonna go with the lead girls or I'm gonna do what so many veterans had told me and just take it easy up escarpment and then kind of hunt them down later. I think because, and that was very nerve-wracking for me, so I ran, so I was with the girls. I think I was standing next to Nikki. I think Pam was just like right behind me. I think Casey was 2 over from me. We all started running together, and then I just told myself, like, Sally, do not get caught up. Run your own race. Run your own race. And so that's going through my head the whole time. Run your own race. Run your own race. And listening to my heart rate. I didn't wear a heart rate monitor. I know some people do. I think that on race day, the heart rate monitors, because you're so excited, it can kind of like screw you up. So, I was trying to listen to my breathing and things like that. So we started up, and I just, I did a little jog, and then I just I pretty much power hiked most of it. What I didn't go out to the training, but what I was told was that, this 3.5 mile climb, it's so tough, just walk the whole thing. I trained a lot on Baldy. I did a ton of hill training and strength training. So looking back now, and even while I was doing it, and I'm going to say this like very loosely, it was not as challenging as I thought it would be. In fact, when we got to the top, the first climb, the first 3.5 miles, I thought there would be more. I thought that there was going to be something a little bit more taxing. So, now that the race is done, looking back, I'm like, okay, that's good notes for next year. And I think that I'd probably be able to run a little bit more. And I think the girls that were in the front pack, they were running, hiking a little bit more, whereas I was mainly power hiking and choosing very specific places where I would run it. And, if you're going to race, you kind of need to have your eyes on the top 10 all the time. You need to be like within that area, and I think that I let them get away a little bit too fast. So I was always just on the outside of on the outside of the top 10. But that climb, I made sure I looked back a couple times. It was so beautiful. It was so gorgeous climbing. I really loved it. I enjoyed it. And I was just excited for the race to finally start. I went right into my race mode, deep into thought, and was really calm and ready to go, revved up.
It was pretty great to watch because even at the start line, you were very focused, you were very calm. You woke up with plenty of time to pack everything, to get everything ready, including your nutrition. I know there was a question about nutrition in the chat room, Billy. Okay. So chime in.
That's always an important question.
If you want to ask that at any point. But you were dialed. You were ready to go. You were really, really focused. And we had done the escarpment the day before, Billy, myself, and Dave. Yeah. And or Colin. Did Dave join us? Mm-hmm. No, Dave. Yeah, Dave. We all four. What am I talking about?
And then Chris raced it. Chris Vargo raced it. Won.
Raced it on Friday and won. Which is
it was a little race. Incredible.
We got to get Vargo on and to talk about that. So we kind of told her, like, listen, this is what to expect, and we knew that we wouldn't get to see you again until roughly, it was Robinson Flat.
30 miles.
Yeah, 29.7 Robinson Flat, which you came into at exactly 6 hours and 3 minutes. So you ran the first 50K-ish in like a really nice, really comfortable time of 6 hours and 3 minutes. So we were actually really excited because the whole time we were kind of talking as the crew, like, well, we hope that she doesn't go out too fast or try to keep up with the top 10 women, because that can always change so early in this race, Like the girl who's in front could easily be going out way too fast and then buckle at the end, or save your strength for the last 40 miles, because that's where this race begins. So yeah, you rolled in super comfortable at Robinson Flat. I remember seeing you, greeting you as you ran in. You were just all smiles, totally happy. You said you were a little bit behind on hydration, but otherwise you were totally good. Spent a little time with us getting food and doing that kind of thing, and I had to yell at you to leave, but you were like, it's fine. I'm like, Sally, get the hell out of here, leave. You're like, but it's okay.
No, you guys were great. I think you guys were awesome. I have to say, going into Robinson Flat was so awesomely overwhelming because I'd never seen so many people at an aid station in my entire life. And for those of you that are watching, if you are looking to do Western States, whether it's to crew or to pace or to run it, any side of the experience is incredible. It's like none other in our sport. I remember thinking as I was running it, and there's just roars of cheers and people and smiles and so many awesome volunteers. But thinking like, wow, this many people like trail running, like this many people are here to support a race. I mean, there's so many races we do sometimes where, it's like a couple hundred entrants and, maybe 50 people that are going to come watch, or maybe there's 10 people at the finish line. So having this first aid station like that, I was like, whoa, this is legit. This is the real deal. But yeah, Ethan, I remember seeing you right away and your smile, and you pointed me right to where your crew is, and there's crews all set up. I mean, just so deep, and I think you guys were down like 100 yards, but it was so cute, and this is to the audience, but they had everything set out on the blanket. It was bars and my Ensure drink and electrolytes, and it was pretty much like, what is it that you want to eat? The way that I do nutrition is I'm very based on feel. I eat really well, and I usually don't have stomach issues, and I didn't at all during this whole race. So I come in and my belly tells me what I want, and I think I had an Ensure drink there, and then I just grabbed dried fruit and some gels, shoved those in. I had Vespa, some Tailwind, and then yes, Ethan was like, get the heck out of here.
You were taking your time. You were like, you're ready to lay down, take a nap, and then keep running, or
no, I was not.
No, not even remotely. She was definitely amped, really excited. We iced her down. Definitely got her some cool a cool new buff, so she was able to kind of keep her temperature at bay. It hadn't really warmed up too incredibly bad at that point, but it was all good. Now Billy actually saw you earlier than we did. Let me give you guys an idea of kind of how this course plays out. So if you look here on, basically we start up in Squaw Valley, which is the top blue dot. I don't know if you can see that. she runs out to Duncan Canyon, then up to Robinson Flat. So Billy, I think you were at Duncan Canyon. You saw her there.
Yeah.
What was it the same? Did she feel good? Like, where were the other women in relation to her at that point?
At that point, Sally was still, I think, maybe just running right around the top 15. I remember Matt Trappy and I were kind of hanging out with each other. And Matt Trappy, if you don't know him, he's an amazing photographer, and he's getting into film as well. And he was hanging out waiting for Sally before he moved on, and of course I was doing the same. And I remember, I remember thinking to myself, oh, I thought Sally would be a little bit up higher, you know, especially when I see names or see people that she's beaten in the past.
Yeah.
And I think that was my initial impression. And Sally, you know, I'll be totally candid about that. But I also remember thinking, oh, you know, this is a 100-mile race. This is like nothing. It's like a blip. There's so much more race, like actual racing, to be done. This is like just kind of management and getting through the initial miles. So Sally came through, you know, happy. The attitude was the main thing. She was happy. She was running with our friend Jimmy Dean Freeman. So I was like, okay, side relief. She's doing and running well. And so after that point, it was just hightailing it back to the next point.
Yeah, everything was really good. And just from a crew standpoint, this is probably the crucial part of the day for us. The start line is Squaw Valley up there on the top. We couldn't just drive to Robinson Flat, a straight shot. This is actually the most difficult, and Billy actually had a difficult aid station to get to over in Duncan as well. We had to drive all the way out on the 80 there, drive all the way down to this intersection, then drive back up another 80 miles to Robinson Flat on curvy roads that had speed limits from 45 to 25.
Yeah.
Nothing over that. So it took a good 3 hours just to get there.
Logistically, I think the early part of the race was a major pain in the butt for crew and pacers, or I guess primarily crew.
Yeah, because when we were thinking like, oh, we have plenty of time. It's a 3-hour drive, so she should roll in there anywhere from 5 to 6 hours. But you still have to pack up all your gear. You have to pack and put the suitcases in the car, and you have to drive the 180 miles or whatever it is to the aid station, and then reset up everything. So we were really actually we were early, but it wasn't terribly early. We had like a maybe 30-minute, 45-minute jump on her, which you just don't know, because she could roll in super fast, or she could roll in super slow, or she could roll in right in the middle. So it was like the perfect timing that we saw her when she rolled through, and that was great. So at that point, we saw her leave. As a crew chief, the last question she asked me was, so what's next? And I was like, more running. Good luck. Like, I just kind of shoot her out with more running. And then I realized after that, I was like, Ethan, you're a fucking idiot. She asked you what's next because she wants to know what's coming up next. Is it a hill? Is it a descent? Is it like rolling single track or whatever? She even gave me a list of everything that, you know, to tell her. So I totally dropped the ball, but I knew that she.
No, you did not. No, you did not. I also knew the course too.
Yeah.
You were okay. You're hard on yourself, Ethan.
Well,
you guys, he was an awesome crew chief. You told me and did so much at that aid station. That was minor. What was next? More racing, Sally. Get out there and run.
More racing. Keep going. But crucially, that's when Devil's Thumb and the big ascents and descents happened. So I kind of dropped the ball on that. Regardless, the next time we saw Sally was Michigan Bluff. I would say that we got there early. It's a bit of a hassle to access this aid station as well. You have to drive in, you have to park, then you have to take a shuttle. So there's like school buses that are driving people to and from the aid station about a mile or half mile away. So you kind of have to time it well. We got there with plenty of time, but this was also the aid station that was full of a lot of carnage. There's a lot of runners coming in because they had just finished some huge climbs and dealing with the middle of the day heat. So there's a lot going on here that was like, oh well, hopefully Sally's rolling through pretty good. This is when we first saw Sally.
Yeah, girl. Nice job. Nice job. Right here.
Follow me this way. I'm gonna ice you up here. Let's give you some cold water. How you doing? How you doing?
Oh, it's freaking me.
Did you really? Yeah, we'll just take some time.
Can we refill anything for you? No. Billy, I can't.
Yep.
All right. Back. We'll get
You're gonna keep this, or you want to get rid of it?
right here.
Get some water in you, Sally. Get water. So you probably can't hear it very well, and I'm a terrible videographer at that point because it kind of went into like reality mode. She came in and she said that she blew out her knee. So when a runner comes in, and you can notice that she's hobbling. When I edit the video together, if you rewatch it, you'll see that. She comes in, it's a bit of a descent. She comes in hobbling and favoring one of her legs. She's favoring her left leg because her right leg, something is wrong. I'm like, how you doing? How you feeling? She goes, I think I blew out my knee. That's not really what you want to hear.
Yeah, the right knee.
The right knee. What do you think happened, Sally? What happened at this point?
I don't know. Like I had said earlier, I knew I did it. I did something to it during one of the descents, but it wasn't like I stepped on a rock and I twisted it. And I was really trying to run a smart race, so I wasn't flying down the hills either. I wasn't like bombing down the hills. My IT bands were fine. Like I said earlier, I probably put on a little bit of muscle weight for this race. My legs were really strong. I was able to, power hike really well the whole race. I mean, I was passing guys uphill all the time. So I think like, I don't know. I don't know if I twisted or what, but I had pain underneath the kneecap, and then it was shooting down the anterior tibialis, so my lower leg, and also on the inside of my my lower leg as well. And there was nothing I could do to make the pain go away. It kind of felt like someone was hitting me with a sledgehammer. And I could climb okay, so I was like climbing okay, but flats and descents were just excruciating. And so I think I ran about 5-7 miles with it hurting, and before that video, I was already going through in my head like what I was going to do at that point. I knew I needed to reassess my goals. Did you want me to talk about that, or you want me to wait?
This is the time, yeah.
Okay. So as I was running, I was thinking I had just had an hour-long conversation with Ann Trayson a week before the race, and she was super encouraging and gave me some great tips on the race and how to race it. And I know that when, Ann Trayson won it, gosh, over a dozen times, but her first 2 stabs at it, she didn't finish. I've also known some other past champions to not have a good first race. So I think I hit like a mental low, and I started to justify that for myself. And I was like, that's okay. It's my first stab at Western States. This happens. Like, this is part of racing. Like, the day never turns out as to what you expect it to be. And, I'm just going to have to either like slow down, or if this gets worse, I'm going to have to stop the race. And that lasted all of maybe a minute. Like, all those thoughts went through my head for a minute. And I immediately then I thought of my crew, and I was like, wait a minute. We have all trained so hard for this. Side note is all of them are training for a 100-mile race. I know Ethan's training for Squamish, which is pretty much like a 100-mile race. And I'm like, we've all been training. I've been training so hard for this. We all took time away from our friends, from our family. I'm away from my kids. And I'm like, I'm not quitting this race, but I do need to reassess my goals. So at that point, I thought, okay, we're now just going to go for the buckle. And pretty much what I needed to do at that pace was just keep I think it was like a 4 to 5 mile per hour pace, and I would get sub 24, which I felt was doable. I felt like there was no amount of physical pain that would keep me from that finish line. I really believed that I could muster up that kind of strength. I have in 100 in the past. So that was where I was entering the aid station. I was sad because I was so far from the competition. That's not where I wanted to be. I wanted to be much closer. I wanted to be in that top 10 at that point. But now I was hurting and needing to reassess my goals.
It was, Billy, I'm assuming you got this all on footage, because this moment was tough to hear when the runner comes through and says, my knee is blown out.
Yeah.
But then the aid station all the volunteers were like, "Come with us. We're going to tape your knee. Come with us. We're going to tape your knee." Sally, would you like to sit down and we'll
stubborn.
tape?
I'm so
Sally,
stubborn.
the stubborn runner that she is like, "No, you get away from me." Like she wasn't super physical or anything, but she very much did not want. The volunteers were awesome.
Ethan, you're very right. I had to tell them straight up.
I don't know where she is. There she is. She was just like, "You guys need to leave me alone. I'm sorry."
Sorry, I lost you for a second.
It's okay. You're back now. Yeah, we just got a little bump in the internet.
Yeah.
She was so sweet to them though, as far as like, "I appreciate your help, but no, I'm fine. I need to go to my crew. Yeah. And I'm like, "Sally, if your knee is really bugging, let them tape you." But she came over to us, and the first thing out of her mouth after my knee is blown out wasn't, "I want to think about quitting," or "I want to think about stopping," or "Let's just think about the next aid station." The mentality of "I want to quit" didn't even come into play. It was, "Let's reassess our goals.
Yeah.
Let's go for sub 24." It was immediate. It's like she had been thinking about it. She's like, "Let's just go for sub 24." That was it. It was like, "I'm not quitting. I'm going to keep pushing sub 24."
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome. So we knew that we still had a job to do. And and before she left, she's like, "Go to YouTube, Google how to tape a knee. I'll see you guys at the next aid station.
Yeah.
Get the equipment ready. Let's do this." As tears are coming down her face.
Really, that's so true. If you have K-tape, just for those of you watching out there, you can go on YouTube and pretty much Google how to like tape any injury. Not to do like, and I'm not downplaying like physical therapists or anything like that, but I had done this in the past the night before a race, like years and years ago. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is bothering me. Wait, I'll go on YouTube," because everything's on YouTube. So it's really funny, like being at the aid station, and I had K-tape in the medical bag, and I said, "Go look K-tape out. These are my symptoms. Look those up. Tape me at the next aid station. I'll see you there."
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. Billy, yeah, go ahead, Billy.
No, thankfully there was reception between Michigan and Bluff where we were at that point.
Yeah.
I know.
But yeah, just going back to the race itself, I actually went down a little bit because I wanted to capture some of the moments of Sally climbing out and into Michigan Bluff. And I remember, because I'd seen her at Dusty Corners and she was still doing great. She was rocking it and her attitude was great. She was eating. And when I saw her and she was hiking up, she expressed to me what happened to her knee, and I was just, my heart kind of sank for a second.
Sorry, Billy, we're losing the audio on that. Billy, can you repeat that part where you went down into Michigan Bluff a little bit? It's just the internet. It's just the Wi-Fi. Just repeat that again, Billy.
Sorry. Can you get me? Is my internet slow?
There you go. I think you're back. It's just the internet.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is that Sally, she made it clear that she's still going to fight, and I think she was probably thinking that we'd be disappointed in her when in reality, we didn't care. As long as she had that fighting spirit, I was like, yes, let's keep going. Let's finish this thing. It doesn't matter how long it takes. I know Sally's as sweet and nice as she is, she's also fiercely competitive. And I love that about her. But, it's exactly that. It's reassessing goals. 100-milers will eat you up, chew you out, and those mountains don't care if you're hurting or feeling great. They're indifferent to all of that. So as long as she had that fighting spirit still left, and lit in her, that's all I cared about. And, I'll let her tell the rest.
So before we'll move on to the next aid station, just to give an idea of time and placement. At this point, Michigan Bluff is at mile 55.7. Sally McRae rolled in at 5:56 p.m. She was on a total time of 11:56, so 11 hours and 56 minutes total time accumulated at this point, which puts her that section between Michigan Bluff and the earlier Robinson Flat took her longer. So it's a shorter bit of mileage, but it took her longer to get there. So, I mean, not just the hills, but she was obviously suffering. The lowest place she moved into overall was 99th. And that was right in that section at the aid station just before at El Dorado Creek, just before the climb. So she actually passed, I believe, 3 people on the climb out to Michigan Bluff that put her in 96th place overall. As far as women's concerned, I still think you're in the top 20 for sure. I believe you were in 17th at this place.
Mm-hmm.
But in Michigan Bluff, where we all were, there was a lot of carnage. A lot of runners coming in, female and male, but pulling off to the side to their crews and really reassessing what they needed to do to complete the race and to move on to the next aid station, which is Forest Hill, which is one of the most accessible aid stations. It's very big. It's an elementary school / market / town just off the main street, which is about 6.5 miles. Let's see, it's 54.7. It's actually less. Yeah, 62.5, 67. It's a little over 7 miles. Or just under 7 miles before we would see you next. There's still some good climbing in here, though. So we moved on. Sally left the aid station hobbling, but still with goals. We rolled out to Forest Hill, and we waited for you there. And what sort of happened between those aid stations, Sally?
You know, I have to say this is one of the first reasons why when I was at Michigan Bluff, and the crew volunteers who, yes, again, were incredible. Western States volunteers are amazing. They wanted me to go to first aid, and this is why crew is so important, having a good crew. I really just wanted to see my crew. I didn't care about the physical part at that point because I believe that the mental side of the race is, if you can stay tough there, then you can do it. Everybody's body is breaking down, and I was starting to hit a low mentally. So I knew the most important thing for me was to go see my crew because I needed to mentally regather myself. Physically, I knew I could handle anything. So having seen you guys between, at Michigan Bluff and then leaving, and I did leave with a little bit of tears in my eyes, but seeing just you guys, the way that you worked and, trying to help me out, and you guys were so dialed in and so working as a team, and but you guys still really believed in me. Like, even when I was at that low, I was like, gosh, they really believe that I can do this, and you guys were encouraging me, and that really helped me between those 2 aid stations, because I think that I was then able to just kind of drop into that place and just think about what it was that I was doing. I was thinking about my training. I was able to just really sit and just like pray and then think about, okay, what's hurting, it's okay. I can run with the pain. It's not like a limb is falling off or my organs are failing. I'm in a nice amount of pain. So arriving to Forest Hill, I think between those 2 points, I actually passed 2 girls, which was encouraging. So I think I left Michigan Bluff in 17th place. I arrived in Forest Hill in 15th place, and just that right there. And one of the girls was Emily Harrison, and I was so sad to see her because she trained so hard for that. And I said, hey, girl, how you doing? And we chatted a little bit, and I tried to give her some encouragement. But as I passed her, I realized at that moment, there is so much of this race left, and anything could happen. And if I can just wrap my mind around the next 38 miles, come on, Sally, 38 miles, you can handle this pain. Let's do it. So I was trying to rally as best I could. I came into Forest Hill still in a little bit of pain, but I really, really wanted to finish the race well, even if it was just focusing on, okay, let's at least get that buckle, let's get that sub 24. That's where I was when I entered Forest Hill, and then came dawn, which is huge.
And Billy, as a filmmaker, when you're documenting this, you're there documenting this for Sally, for the world. Is there anything going through your mind? I mean, because you're also a friend of Sally. So you're shouting words of encouragement, but you're also, you want to document this moment because it's tough. It's a low. What's going through your head at that point?
I think the toughest part about Saturday and Sunday was just not being able to really yell and just yell words of encouragement or support, because I wanted to either hear her input and have her primarily talk, and also just didn't want to really influence. I mean, I have to give a shout out to John Trent, the president of Western States, for giving me a media pass, which helped tremendously in me being able to go around and film where I needed to. But I didn't want to do the film a disservice by going, oh yeah, Sally, you got this, girl, and just being like that guy in that Badwater documentary, like, you're my brother, you're my sister. Like, I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to kind of, Sally's the star, and you guys are the co-stars, and seriously, like, cannot emphasize how crucial having a good crew and pacers are, because Ethan was a superstar that weekend. Colin and David obviously were superstars, but going back to your original question, at that point I was just like, I don't give a shit about how this plays out film-wise. I just, like, Sally has dreamed of this moment for basically ever since she started endurance and ultra running, so whatever she had to do to get through it, that was all I was concerned about. And we're just getting into Don Freeman stepping in and helping out, who's a friend of all of ours and a friend of the ultra community. So, Sally, maybe you could talk about how he was able to lend a hand.
Yeah, as Ethan said, the Forest Hill aid station is huge. I think it's like almost a mile long or something like that. I feel like I was running through it for a long time, and there's crew everywhere. And they have the announcers. So when I came in, they announced me, and right away, there's Ethan, and Ethan actually found me before I hit the official start of the aid station, and he said,
we're
Sally,
allowed to run out to Bath Street, which is actually about 0.8 miles away from the aid station. So we can run you in and gauge what you need. And when I first got you, I was like, how you doing? How's the knee? And you were like, you know what? I just passed 2 women. I was like, I know, exactly. You're doing very well. Like, listen to these moments. You're doing better than you think you're doing. Like, Sally's obviously frustrated because her knee hurts, and she's thinking she's doing terrible and not living up to expectations. But the truth is, she's doing way better than she thinks she is. So it's, you have to be conscious to tell her that. So I'm running her into the aid station. Yes, and Sally, sorry, continue.
Yeah, and it was really cute because he's like, I think you have what Kim had a while back, and I had to help her tape it. And he's like, she had the same thing. So, Ethan at this time had like gone on YouTube and he looked up how to tape, and he starts to tell me exactly what kind of tape job he's gonna do, where he's gonna tape it, how he's gonna secure it, and I'm running like thinking like, you're freaking amazing. Like, I have the best crew chief ever. He went and he did his research. He understood what he needed to do. He knew he needed to do it fast. I was just so encouraged by that. So we go through the aid station. He takes me right to where the whole crew is waiting. At this point, too, is where David Daly is gonna start pacing me. He's so pumped, like so ready to run. And I'm trying to.
I'm so ready. I'm so ready to run. Oh, I can't wait. Running is so great.
And I was really battling with like, okay, Sally, like, come on, like, you need to run with some excitement, like, let's get that, positive energy going. And so I sit down in the chair, they grab the K-tape, and up walks Don Freeman and Scott War, our fellow Trail Runner Nation hosts. And Don Freeman is a chiropractor, and as a fellow trail runner, he deals with athletes all the time. And I'm like, Don, here's what's going on with my knee, and he like grabs my knee, like does a few things with it, and he and Ethan then are like hovering over me. Ethan's ripping up the tape, and Don's doing this, and they're both going back and forth with Ethan's giving him the information that I had given him at Michigan Bluff, and then Don's like, okay, yeah, I think I know what this is too. And between I don't know, what was like 60 seconds, I have this full-blown amazing tape job, which alleviated some of the pain. I wouldn't say I was pain-free, but I was able to run without having to really favor one side, my left leg over my right. And that and having passed 2 women, and then the third thing was that my goal all along was to run hard those last 38 miles. Yeah. Over and over again, I heard many veterans say this. I'd read many reports, and my goal going into that race was, Sally, be wise, listen to those who have done well at this race, don't be a fool, and take the advice of those that have conquered this course and run the last 38 miles hard and fast, and that's really what I wanted to do. And so as I stood up and I was like, okay, I can run. I'm not in excruciating pain anymore. I can handle this. I just passed 2 women. I'm going to go run with Dave now, who's like so sweet and so positive. He's a great runner. He's excited. His personality is very infectious, too. He's very easily can run off you, so he's really positive, just ready to go. And we took off, and Billy captured the picture, too. I posted it up on Facebook today and on Instagram. But it's the 4 of us, my whole crew leaving. It's this black and white shot. I'm running in the middle. I got my crew chief, Ethan. I got Colin. I got David. And then Billy's taking the picture. But it is just a beautiful shot of just what I felt like pretty much the whole day. I felt like I had this team that believed in me, that was like, you can do this, and they're pushing me out to the last 38 miles, which is a crucial part of the race, where my whole race changed. And I left with that support, and I was able to make it into the top 10 from there. It was pretty incredible. But we ran on the road for a little bit, and David said, Sally, you know, why not go chase down some girls? Why not? He had given me his mantra.
Why not go chase down some girls?
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not go for it? His mantra, he had given me his mantra the night before. He's like, my mantra is, you know, why not you? And I told him as we started.
Why not you? Why not you?
Yeah. And I told him, I was like, you know, it's gone through my head a couple of times, you know, when we sometimes can be our worst enemies and put this doubt in our mind, or when things start going wayward, it's like, okay, my race is over, I'm going to let go of this goal and that goal. And he was still very much in tune with my original goals, with what I wanted from the start. And so he's like, Sally, don't look at your watch. I'm going to lock you in to where I know you're supposed to be. I want you to run based on feel right now. And I said, all right. So I didn't look at my watch, and we just start going. And I was running based on feel. Well, I got a little sneaky because I was like, okay, my based on feel, I'm feeling good. I look down, we're clipping off 7:45-minute miles. And I go, Dave, you said you're going to lock me in. And he's like, you're locked in. That's where you're supposed to be. And we hit the trail, and I think I just kind of fed off of him in that. Like, he's just like, let's go, let's go. And anytime we hit like an incline, so let's kind of, you know, can you give me a little bit more, Sally? Can you give me a little bit more? Let's push it. And these are things that I had told he and Colin the night before to do too. I said, do not let me complain, and I want you guys to push me. I can be pushed like very hard. Like, don't let me complain. Keep pushing me even if I say stop, because I will respond to it. That's what we have to do. And that first hour we were able to, I think we did like 6 miles in the first hour, which was probably the fastest I had run like all day. And having just run 62 miles and have that knee pain, I was pretty excited. And we then went on to pass 4 women within those 20 miles, and I think we passed maybe 30 men or 20 men or something like that. I need to look at my stats more specifically, but it was a really, really good run. I don't know if you want me to go into the few girls that I passed and what happened there, but I'll pause.
Well, no, I mean, if you have any stories from that duration, especially along the river, you crossing that river, Dave. I only know what happened on the trail from Dave when you dropped him off and you picked up your next pacer. Crossing the is it the American River that you cross at Rucky Chucky?
Yeah, it's a Rucky Chucky aid station. But yeah, you would cross the American River.
Yeah, so he was just saying that as soon as you came down to the river, you saw, I think, what you thought was a woman ahead of you.
Yeah.
And he described you jumping into the river, crossing the river extremely fast. I mean, it's a good, like, 100-foot across river. I mean, it's wide. He's like, you jumped into the water, you crossed before Dave could even get in. Like, he described you moving that fast. You were so laser focused on, at that point, feeling good and moving forward and catching women in the field and passing them. Describe those moments. Describe those moments leading up to Green Gate.
Okay. Yeah, we started to settle into a really good clip. And we came upon Jimmy Dean Freeman, who was such a joy the entire day. Jimmy Dean and I kind of frog hopped all day. Like, he came up to me, and then I'd take off for like 15 miles, and then he'd take off for 10 miles. But we always we met up, and he's a great 100-mile racer. And we share great stories and have good laughs. So we settled in with him, and we were just keeping a good pace. But I was still very much, I was so, at this point, my whole mindset had changed. I wanted to pass women. I wanted to be in top 10. I could handle what was going on with my knee. David was pushing me and making me believe that I could keep this pace. And there was a girl, he said, let's go hunt girls. And I saw a girl from the distance, and that was our thing. So everyone has pacers. So everyone has pacers. And I see this girl in the distance, and it was this girl that had passed me at like mile 10. I did something at the beginning of the race. It's kind of how I gauge my competition. I knew the front pack had gone away, but there was a few other girls around me that I knew were competitive racers also. And so sometimes what I'll do is I'll pass someone hard, and if they go with me, then it shows me something about them. If I pass them and then they run really hard, really hard past me, and they keep on running hard that early in the race, that also shows me something about them. So this particular girl, when I passed her just casually at like mile 9.5, and like a minute later, she passes me like really hard, but turns around and says, "Weren't you the girl that was called up at the front of the pre-race meeting yesterday?" Kind of like snarky, and I was like, "Yeah," and she's like, "Oh, have a nice race," and then just takes off. And in that moment, I thought, I don't understand why she said that, but you know what? I'm going to make sure that I catch her. Well, that was the girl. So here it was, 60-something miles later, and I see her, and I was like, oh my gosh, we are going to pass her. Now, at this point, when you're racing hard, it is good, if you're passing someone, pass them good and hard and fast, and get out of sight. Out of sight, out of sight. So I told Dave, I was like, we are going to pass this girl hard, and we're going to keep on running hard until she cannot see us at all. And this is, I know, is a race strategy that a lot of people have, but it just does something to your competition mentally. You can really break your competition mentally. If somebody passes you hard and fast and they're out of sight within a minute, it's like, oh, man. So that's what we did. We passed her hard, and right away David he was so excited. He's like, Sally, you're I think I was either 14 or 13 at that time, so he just called me. He's like, you're 14. You're 14, Sally. And then we passed, right before we get to Rucky Chucky, I see another girl who had been in top 10 the entire day. I passed her about 50 yards before Rucky Chucky near, and he's like, Sally, you're 13 now. You only have to catch 3 more women. So I flew through that aid station and dropped down into the river. As we went out of the river, there was 2 more women on the climb, and I passed both of those ladies. So coming in to pick up Colin, coming up into Green Gate, I was then either 10th or 11th. We weren't sure yet, because looking back, there was a girl sitting in the aid station in a chair, and I thought that she was a racer. So I believe when I left Green Gate that I was 10th place, but when we asked at the next aid station, they said I was 11th. And Colin and I passed 2 more people when I picked him up.
I want to let those who are watching live know.
Mm-hmm.
That Michigan Bluff was the last time we saw her. Forest Hill was the last time we saw her. That was at mile 62. Green Gate, which is the aid station that we get to see her next, is at mile 79.8, so about mile 80. So 18 miles. She passed 26 runners in 18 miles, which is an incredible amount of people to just start picking off. So Sally comes in to Forest Hill with a knee problem and is like ready to change her goals completely. So us as a crew kind of adapt to that. So we're rolling into Green Gate, which is just after this river crossing that we were just describing. There's a big climb up to Green Gate. It's about a 1.5 mile climb from Rucky Chucky, which is the river, up to Green Gate, steep. So we get to Green Gate thinking, okay, she's on this certain sort of timetable. Her knee is injured, so she's probably going to go at exactly this pace. She's with Dave, so she could maybe move a little bit faster. We roll in. It's myself and Colin. We roll out all the supplies, all the goods, and Colin's going to take her as a pacer and move on to the next aid station and to the finish line. So Colin is basically taking over for Dave at this point as a pacer. So we're kind of getting everything situated, and I'm going to run down to Rucky Chucky. We have access down to the river, so we can run up with our runner. And I tell Colin, all right, man, get everything set up. Take a nap if you want. I'm going to go ahead and run down and just kind of take it easy. I was looking forward to running in the dark and had my headlamp and stuff. I don't get 200 yards out of Green Gate when I see Dave and Sally running up, yelling at me, we gotta move, we gotta move, come on, go fast. And I was like, what? So I turn around and I start running up. Billy is running down with his camera. So I yell at Billy, like, Billy, Sally, Billy.
No. Hold on, Ethan. I was meandering. I thought I had all the time in the world. I was not running down.
You're right. Yeah, no, we thought we had an hour. We thought we had at least an hour to like chill and relax and enjoy the scenery. Billy and I were gonna hike down, or I was gonna run, and Billy was gonna hike down with his camera gear and stuff, and just enjoy the river. She comes storming up. Plans changed. The race is now on. Sally is somehow flipped a switch. Dave is excited as a little squirrel bumblebee character, and we start screaming out. So I like turn around and I sprint up to Colin, and I'm like, Colin, get ready, because he was still pouring bottles of water and getting his backpack situated, and he's like, now? I was like, now. He's like, now? I was like, now, dude, now. So Sally, like, I don't know how she kept up with me because I'm so fast. Rolls in right behind me, grabs Colin, and they're out. They're gone. Like, we managed to like throw nutrition at them as they're leaving. Colin gets his pack on, and they're gone. They roll out. This is what happened in the car, like pretty much immediately following.
Okay, so we got to Green Gate, aid station, and the idea was to get to Green Gate an hour ahead of Sally, go down to Rucky Chucky, which is a big water crossing. So we have miles to get to her, and we thought we had over an hour of time to get to her. Sally comes ripping up with Dave an hour ahead of schedule. She's killing it right now. Dave, how was Sally? Like, describe her.
It's getting stronger. I would not want to be number 9 right now.
Oh my God! So she's in 10th, 11th at this point.
Did you pass Maggie? Oh yeah, we passed Maggie way back there.
Oh wow! She's killing it.
Killing it.
Aww. That's
Billy,
so
did you
awesome
get any of that on? Did you get any of that on footage, Billy? I'm hoping you did.
Yes, I did. It's very Blair Witch Project meets Cloverfield-ish, but I got it, and you'll get the gist, hopefully.
And what's going on in the chat room right now, Billy? Because I know that there's been people asking questions and stuff like that. Anything?
I've been engaged in this conversation right now. I think do we want to do this now? Sorry.
We can. We're about to get to the good stuff, but people are chiming in.
I'm on the edge of my seat, and I've heard the story like 300 times already.
Okay, good. We'll keep moving. I know that this show is going to be long. I guess FYI, we're already over an hour, so the show is obviously going to be a long one. But I think it's so entertaining because it proves that anything can happen. Anything can happen in any race of any duration. It's not just a 100-mile race. But Sally, at this point, you come ripping through. You pick up your second pacer, and you're off to the races. I mean, literally. What happened? So we ended up we made a detour. We want to see her at mile 49 because we want to see what. I'm sorry, not mile 49, but Highway 49 because we want to see what girls come in before you and what girls come in after you. We want to make sure that you know what you have in front of you in case you are still pushing really hard so you can, get to the finish line strong. So what's going through your head at this point? Like, you leave Green Gate. What's going through your head?
I was super excited. The section that Dave and I had just run, I ran it hard. And my body was tired. I knew that we had a little bit of downhill coming, and so I knew that would hurt a little bit, but I wanted so badly to be in that top 10. And that desire, that passion was so much stronger than what I was feeling physically. And I do have to say, I'll kind of go off of what Craig Randall's asking me right now. Sally, are you getting motivation from your pacer at that point, or was it all internal? Was Dave egging you on, or was it just intrinsic competitiveness? I think it's a combo of both. I am competitive. I am very passionate. But yes, both Dave and Colin were key in that because they've run with me enough. They know me well enough. They know how to communicate with me, whether I'm in a high or in a low. And so at that point, all that Dave was doing was just, you can do it. You can do it. Come on, Sally, like push, push, push. Let's go get her. Let's run a little bit harder. And so when I came to that aid station and I was in 10th, it was like this refreshing where I was like, I can do this. I have 20 more miles. We can do this. And so picking up Colin, and Colin and I have shared thousands of miles together, I feel like, of training.
That's not exaggeration, by the way. That's not hyperbole. That is literally thousands of miles.
I also know, I know well, that the last 10 miles of 100 can sometimes be the most terrible. You can hit really high highs, and I was at a high at that point. It was really high, and then you can just sink super low. And so choosing your pacers is so wise, and I specifically knew from the time that I had to start picking pacers and crew that Colin would always be the one to take me home because of just who he is and how he deals with stuff, and we have some similar things, and he knows how
thank you.
Push me. So Colin was really great at just, all right, Sally, I know that this is going to hurt, but he kept reminding me, you need to run the race of your life right now. You need to do your absolute best. You need to finish strong. And he just kept reminding me of that. And, you know, give me a shuffle. Let's hike up this. Let's pass those people. Let's keep at this pace. Like, listen to your body. You know, quicker cadence. Come on. So it was, and it was awesome. We broke it down into two sections, into the 80 to 90 and the 90 to 100. That's how he wanted to do it. And that's how our strategy kind of went, and it was really, really helpful. So from 80 to 90, we passed two more girls. And what I found out when I came into the aid station after Green Gate was I was actually in 11th place. So we then passed two girls, which put me in 9th. And I was very happy. And I told Colin, I was like, the worst place to be really in the top 10 is 9th and 10th place, but the absolute worst place is 10th place, because there are girls behind me that I'm passing that have been in the top 10 all day that still want to be in the top 10, that are phenomenal runners, that are now going to be chasing me down. The last thing that anybody wants is to be racing the last few miles of a 100-mile race. It's painful, it's hard, it's exhausting, it's just terrible. And of course, that's really what ended up happening to me. But we'll get to that in a minute. So we pass a few girls, we pass some more guys. We get to mile, I want to say 96. And at this point, I am completely done. My body is so tired. Everything hurts. I had huge blisters on the bottom of my feet that I was able to deal with. I only had them for like 20 miles. So, and I kept one pair of shoes, one pair of socks from start to finish the entire day. I never changed them. I was fine. But after crossing the river, the blisters were not happy. So for about 20 miles, I had these blisters. So at mile 96, I'm like, everything hurts. The blisters hurt. I've kicked like 9,000 rocks, so all my toes hurt. My legs are just tired. I'm mentally just drained. And not only that, both Colin and David had been pushing me so gently and firmly to keep a good pace and to keep moving and to remind me that I'm being chased. You're number 9. Let's keep that going. At mile 96, Colin, I kept on asking Colin, do you see anyone behind us? Because all that we see is pitch black and then 2 headlights. So you'd see these headlights everywhere. Well, we had passed so many guys. He's like, I think it's 2 guys. I think it's 2 guys. I think it's 2 guys. And literally 10 seconds after I say to Colin, I'm so done, Colin. I'm so tired. I hear a girl's voice, and she says, Sally, good job. And I turn around, and to my horror, it's this girl that I had passed right as I was climbing Green Gate. So I had passed her like 16 miles back as I was climbing Green Gate. Phenomenal runner. And in that moment, I had to decide, as my head is turning back around, I told myself, Sally, choose now. And I said to her, good job to you too, and went sprinting off. I don't know where the sprint came from, but Colin had already stepped off the trail to let her pass me, because I think he thought, you know, hey, she's passing us. But I just took off. And in my mind, I thought, Colin, you're either coming with me or not. And Colin then jumped in front of her. But we went flying down, and for 3 miles, we held her off. And at mile 98.5, she caught me up on a climb. But I gave every drop of everything I possibly could. And as we were climbing up to Roby Point. It's the point that everyone waits to get to, where you get all your crew, and all you have to do is run that 1.3 miles through the neighborhood and on to the stadium. So we're climbing up to Roby Point, and all that's going through my head, I'm mentally drained. I have nothing left. I mean, I couldn't believe that I was even able to run that hard those 3 miles. But I have nothing left, and she ends up passing me. We get up to Roby Point, and I look at Colin, and I'm teetering. I mean, I'm dizzy. I'm completely redlining. I'm breathing really hard. I'm starting to see all these other headlamps like behind me too, coming up, which we were all sure it was all guys. We get to Roby Point. The whole crew's there, and David comes back. David Daly, who had paced me before, he comes back, and he says, I'm going to go check Sally and see if any of those people that are coming up are girls. So he's kind of like glancing back, looking, and he turns to me and he says, Sally, move, you got to run, Sally. I'm like, what? I have nothing left. And I'm like doing this little shuffle on the road. And they're like, come on, Sally, it's less than a mile. And then we're with Jimmy Dean Freeman too, and he's like, Sally, there's a little tiny just hump in the road, and then it's downhill.
I actually have footage.
Oh, you got that footage? Oh, okay. Uh-oh.
So just as an outsider's perspective,
okay.
Roby Point is 1.1 miles from the finish line. Roby Point is where your crew can meet you and run you in. So you have 1.1 miles, about 0.4 of which is still a pretty tough climb, because you're coming up out of a climb into Roby Point, and you have another about 0.4 miles up, and then it's all downhill to the finish. Maybe it's 0.3 miles, but still it's a tough-ass climb at mile 98.9. The girl right in front of Sally, who you just described as passing you in that last quarter mile, came in 45 seconds before you. So the race at this point between 9th and 10th was 45 seconds apart. So you roll into Roby Point, and I'm like, Sally, 45 seconds, let's move.
Yeah.
And this is basically this is what we saw.
Thanks, David. Sorry.
I mean, it's a shuffle.
I was hurting so bad.
You can't ask someone who's run 98.9 miles to pick up the pace. You just can't do it.
But that was Colin's job, and I can't say the 4-letter word that he was telling me at that point. But he was like, Sal, you need to run through the bleeping pain right now. You have to leave it alone, and you need to finish strong. Like he refused to let me do anything but my best. And this is why I chose Colin, though, because I knew he would do that. He was the absolute best pacer for me for that last section, and he will be my pacer again next year in that section. He knew, he just knows me that well. I was hurting really bad right there, but you know, a few minutes after that, I'm running again, and I was able to run through the road, and I was able to run into the stadium, because he was pushing me too. He's like, come on, you got to finish strong, you got to believe. But it was not easy. I had just essentially got done racing for 3 miles, from miles 96 to 99. Like I was hurting in a world of pain, and then to have her pass me at that point, I mean, what that did to me mentally, it was crushing. It was really, really tough. And all I could think of was, if there's anybody behind me right now, if any one of those headlamps is a girl, I don't even know if I could keep them off for this last mile. But I cannot even imagine losing the 10th place spot less than a mile from the finish line. I mean, to be in the top 10 is like, it's a dream come true. I mean, that was my dream, to be in the top 10. I'd be able to come back the following year. You know, our crew, everyone, we'd all worked so hard. And so when Dave says to me, Sal, you better move, I mean, I felt like my soul had just died. I was like, I don't know if I can do this. But we got up to this little hump, and the whole crew's like, Sally, it's downhill, Sally. And I wanted to chuckle inside, because I'm like, do you know how much downhill I've run today? I don't want to do any more downhill. Like, I usually love downhill, but I was like, all I want to do is like lay on my face. But they were right. I hit that downhill and I went right into a run. It's just this, it's instinctive to me. I hit a downhill and you run.
Yeah.
And I got a little, oh, okay, you have it.
I do. This is, if you get the tissues ready.
No, let her leave it off. No, shut it off. Can she take off her bib? I mean, her pack now? She needs to.
Yep, sure.
Aww.
It's going to ruin the photo.
I've got a light for her. Just let it go. Just let it drop. Let it drop. Just let it drop. I'll pick it up. Let it drop. Good, 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 good. This is it, Sally. Track right ahead. That's the track. That is it.
Yes! Good, Sally. Yes!
Sally McRae!
Sally!
Right there. No, to the right. Follow. Straight. Nice.
Sally, girl.
This is your moment, girl.
Go right here. We'll go.
Take it right at the track. Down here. Yep.
Sally, Margo. Oh, I'm coming over there. Come on, Sally. Go, Sally.
Go, Sally.
Sally, see you at the finish.
Great job, girl.
Good way to finish. Smile.
We'll see you at the finish, Sally. You finish strong, okay? You finish strong. You finish that.
Oh, okay, I'm crying.
Me too.
You guys were so amazing the entire day, and just to see that, like, all you guys pushed me forward that whole day and believed in me and were helping me. And I think even on the track I asked Colin, is there a girl behind me? Like, I was just so done. Like, I was running on your energy, you know, just to get there. It was, I think once I hit the track and Colin affirmed, he's like, Sally, there's nobody in sight. It finally set in. That was the first moment that I was able to say, oh my gosh, I'm finishing my first Western States in the top 10. This is a dream come true. And crossing that finish line was just, it was surreal. It still hasn't really hit me. It was such an honor just to be able to toe the line that day, and then to cross the finish line in that place, and to, you know, make up all those spots, you know, at the end there. I'm so grateful, so grateful.
And here is actually the finish line. I included Jimmy Dean in here as well, just because he was such a help. I know that he ran with you a lot.
Yeah, he was such a joy. He really was.
Those last few miles, he was shouting at you. There is no one behind you. You know, right up here is I think it's White Bridge or bridge that's white. He's like, from here it's downhill. Like, just follow me. Let's do this. A good friend, Jimmy Dean Freeman, he was on an episode of Ginger and Her Live a couple weeks ago. So this is his finish as well as your finish.
And this is Jimmy Dean coming in 21:24. Well under his goal of 24 and a 4-hour PR.
Sally!
Sally McRae coming in 8th woman, I believe.
You did it.
My crew. Where's my crew?
Good work, Sally. So proud of you.
So proud of you.
So proud.
Oh.
And the footage just gets terrible from there.
We're all crying. You don't want to see that. You don't see a bunch of guys crying. That's what we're doing.
No. Billy, tell me you got this on camera.
Jeez, I don't know. I really haven't been able to vet and go through all the footage yet, but yeah, just it's amazing to relive that again. It's an awesome moment.
Sally, thank you for taking us on an incredible journey. You earned the shit out of that on Saturday. You can't tell you how much you earned that. And I realize that the story is not really complete because a lot happened out there on the trails that maybe you don't even remember, you know, because when you're running a long race like that, there's a lot that just happens, and you met a lot of people, I'm sure of it, and you had lots of amazing encounters, and I can't wait to hear more stories as they come back to your memory. And Billy, I know that you're going to be editing together an incredible film. You've been documenting her journey up to Western States, and for most of the day on Saturday, you were filming her at all the different stations and stuff like that. Sally, if there's anything that you learned from Saturday that you can help inspire others with, what would you say that is?
Gosh, seeing all that, I feel like cloudy right now. I just want to start crying. I really have to say, if you are going to do a 100-mile race, you really don't do it alone. I know some people that do races and they don't have crew, they don't have pacers and stuff like that, but your experience is different. I have said from the start, one of the reasons why I'm in love with the 100-mile distance is because in so many ways, the 100-mile race depicts in one day what our life is like. The highs and the lows, the excitements, the times when you feel completely alone. You know, you get people to pace you sometimes. You might run with a pack of runners sometimes, but what are you made of when you're alone in those dark areas? And who is it that you rely on, and what is it that you rely on when you need encouragement and you need that confidence? And so I think that you know, if you're going to go into a 100-mile race, there's so much more than just the getting out and logging the miles and the training that goes into it. You need to make sure that you have a unit of support. And I talk to runners all the time. They're like, I have nobody that supports me in my running, or I don't know trail runners, I don't know people like this. And I think that's what's so cool about the community. You can reach out and get to know different people, or you yourself can be a person that inspires other people to do what it is that you do, and have them join you. But you know, I think you know, Ethan, your original question was, what did I learn about 100s too? What did you just say?
Yeah, I mean, if you learned anything from Saturday,
did you say what did I learn about the 100?
Yeah, if there's anything you learned on Saturday that you can translate to those who are watching.
Yeah, so yeah, the crew, that part is huge. Logistically, I really believe that studying is so important. You should always study. If you are passionate and you love something, you should know it well. And I did a lot of studying, a lot of late night studying, just in front of the map, you know, looking at the aid stations. And I'm a big believer in gaining wisdom, and you can find wisdom in those that have done the race many times. They don't have to be top 10 finishers. It's just, who knows the course? You know, what is it like? What do you experience? If you are a competitive racer, then get together, find blogs or find opportunities and take them to heart. Not everybody's advice is actually sound advice, but if you have a big smorgasbord of stuff that you can glean from, you know, sift through it, learn something from it, and do it. You know, there are so many things in that race that saved me just because I had conversations with people, or because I studied and I knew what I was doing as I was going in. The other thing that I learned on Saturday too, which I kept reminding myself, was this is going to hurt. Now, I'm not, some people call me a masochist sometimes. They're like, gosh, you know, you talk about pain and it's okay and all that. I don't go and look for pain. I'm not like, I don't get high off being in pain. I'm not like stoked to be hurting. But I am very passionate about the fact that that pain can be used for things that are good. It's what makes us stronger, what shows us what we're made of. And many times the greatest things that we experience in life, the only way to get there is by experiencing being uncomfortable, and there's some hurt in there too. And so as I approached the start line of Western States, remember that morning of, or I think I was laying in bed in the middle of the night, it woke me up. I only slept for like 3 hours. I woke up in like a little bit of a sweat, and I was like clenching. I was like hugging a pillow. I was like clenching it, and the thought like went through my mind. I think I'd like fallen asleep praying, and I woke up, and it was like, you are going to finish, and it will be painful. And I was not very happy with that, but it was just, that was what was blaring in my head. And I realized I need to make peace with that and not fight against it, but know that I'm stronger than it. I am going to finish. It is going to be painful, but the pain is not greater than what is at the finish line. And so if you can go into a race, and for some of you, it's the 50K distance. You know, that's really, really painful. That's tough. It's long. But whatever it is that you're going to tackle, be okay with that and be stronger than it. So.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. The show has gone on pretty long.
Yeah.
I want to thank all of you guys who are watching live. I think we're gonna continue any of our conversation maybe a little bit in the post show. It'll be a short post show. So any questions that have been in the chat room, we'll try to answer those as best as possible. I have to thank Sally for allowing me to follow this adventure. Honestly, I can't leave this. I'm still in a haze from this weekend, even as a crew member, just because.
Because he didn't get any sleep.
Well, yeah, because we didn't get any sleep, but also because it's one of those moments that you're living, and it's kind of almost, I don't want to say it's a fairy tale, but it's like you are proving so much in the human spirit and how powerful that is, and how powerful it is, how powerful like running can be also a mental game, and you can just tell yourself, just keep moving. And you can, and you can push through all the physical ailments and stuff like that, and still do something pretty incredible. Top 10 female at Western States. She'll be back next year as a result. 2015, we'll see you in Squaw. Billy, any last thoughts before we go into the post show?
I love the part about the pain. I think people kind of, you're spot on, Sally. I think people mistake us for being masochists, but really, it is only in that pain that the pain kind of demands your attention, and it forces you to be in that moment and appreciate that moment and respect that moment. And, you know, I'll just say in closing, your performance, I mean, you've just always inspired me in general, just your compassion, your level of just empathy in other people, and your kindness. But, I mean, this race, see it unfold, and just being able to be a small part of that was awesome.
Well, I want to say too in closing, and for everyone listening, I know, and if Colin and David were here too, they'd be doing the same thing. But Bill and Ethan are not giving themselves very much credit. But I could not have asked for a better group of guys to be crewing and pacing me that day. And I know it was hard. Billy had to put on the media tag, and so we had to officially not call him our crew. But every moment and hour leading up to the race and the months all before, he was a part of the crew and a part of the training and everything else. And that whole entire day, I can't thank you guys enough. And it's exciting knowing that we're all going to be going back together again next year. And that whole part of the stress and having to figure out who's going to crew and pace me is done, because it's the same people. And that excites me. And I want to thank you for taking time out from your training, from your families, to just focus on me and my race. In some ways, it's kind of a selfish event. And you guys allowed yourselves to just focus on my dreams and my goals and believe in me, and we made it happen. And the journey was so much more exciting because it was shared with you guys. So thank you. I love you guys so much. You're amazing friends. And thank you everyone watching. A lot of you guys encouraged me so much through social media leading up to the race, and I can't tell you, I know I can't always respond, but it really means a lot to me. I love the trail community and the way we support each other and encourage one another. And for those of you that are looking to race or looking to be more competitive, I just want to say, believe in yourself. Anything is possible. No matter the obstacle, no matter the pain, you can do it. And let's continue to band together and support and encourage one another. Thank you, Ethan, for making that possible by doing this show. So.
Hey, yeah, of course. I love doing it. I love seeing the comments going on in the chat room and people being inspired by your story. I think that is amazing. And I love utilizing technology to help spread that love. And of course, we cannot complete the thanking of the crew and all that stuff without thanking, of course, Mr. Dave Daly. Oh, yeah, thanks for having me. I really had a good time. And Colin Cooley. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. It was really good, really fun. Good job, Sally. So I wish they could have joined us. I really wish they could have joined us. But
I
they
know.
both have full-time jobs. We'll get them on a future episode and talk to them about it. Who knows? But you guys who are watching, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys sticking around and listening to the whole story, the whole adventure. I will have a very short behind the scenes. Some of the footage that I showed you tonight will be in there, and additional footage, which I did not show you tonight. But it'll be a short kind of behind the scenes, like what was it like being a crew member of someone who's running and placing in the top 10 at Western States. Billy, I believe, will have a much more beautiful, much longer, much more cohesive story to tell with his film, which will hopefully be dropping in the next 24 hours, right, Billy?
It'll be a different story. It'll be a different story, Ethan. Don't sell yourself short, but no, if I could do even like a tenth of justice to that, the journey in the story, I'll be happy. But no, not in the next 24 hours. Not
right. It won't be in the It's. I imagine Billy will let us know when that will happen, and we'll get him on the show, and he can talk about it. So those of you who are watching live, if you want to stick around for the post show, I'll stick around for a very little portion of time. I know Sally has family and Billy has stuff, but they might stick around for a couple minutes. We'll see. We'll talk about it in the post show. In the meantime, Sally, where can people find you?
You can find me on sallymcrae.com, and I'm on most all social media outlets, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Thank you.
And Squaw in June 2015. What?
Yeah, I'll be there too. Yeah.
Billy, where can people find you?
People can find me slumped over a desk at your nearest Starbucks, exhausted from this past weekend, probably exhausted, editing the tons of footage in the next however many hours. But at LA Runner, LARUNR, and I posted a couple of pictures of our experience on Instagram with the same handle, so go check those out. Like I said, Sally, absolute inspiration.
Thank you.
And of course, you're watching this live, so you're familiar with me, The Ginger Runner. You can find me on all the social networks over on Twitter, at The Ginger Runner, Facebook, facebook.com/The Ginger Runner, and of course, gingerrunner.com, and on Instagram, where I posted a couple photos from this weekend, at Ethan Newberry. And make sure you tune in live every single Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're doing live shows with guests and the like, talking about running, whether it's ultra or short or whatever. We might even bring in some additional guests for triathlon and other endurance sports. Really excited about that. So we'll see you guys next week. Subscribe to this channel, youtube.com/The Ginger Runner, for videos twice a week. Love it. Twice a week. And we'll see you guys in the post show. That's pretty much it. I cannot thank you guys enough for taking the time to tell our story, Sally and Billy. And it's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome weekend. Pretty epic. We'll see you guys in the post show. Yay!
Yay!
That episode was hilarious. Oh my god, I was in stitches the entire time.
Oh, the entire time I was laughing so hard. What are you guys talking about? I had so much fun. It was so good. Oh my god. I wish Dave and Colin could have been here, but man.
Oh my gosh, crying like babies over here.
kind of reliving that story, Sally, is I've told it to a couple people since being back, and I still will never do it justice, though. Like, even retelling the story as like a third person or showing clips or anything like that. It just, the excitement, like when you came through Michigan Bluff and you were hurting, it was like you just are overwhelmed by this. We need to get her to the finish. Mm-hmm. It sucks, but she has changed her objectives in such a positive way. Like, we gotta abide by that. And then seeing you at the next aid station and just being like, oh my god, our world has changed completely. We were chatty Cathy's in the car, like driving from Green Gate to the next aid station, because our whole world had just shifted. Not only is she no longer in 17th place, she's now in 10th or 9th and moving around. It's like, we'll never do those feelings or emotions justice. It's crazy.
It's pretty incredible. There's so many details. I mean, it was the whole day, you know? Yeah. It's 21 hours of events, and even the days leading up, I feel like if we got nitty gritty, there were some stresses and different things that we needed to do leading up into the race. And I think for me, as the one racing, like, I was so hyper focused, and I just wanted the race to start, you know. But realizing, like, all these things that had to go into place, and how we worked as a team, and then just seeing those clips of those strategies like come into play. And I knew going to the 100, there's a lot of things. You have to expect the unexpected. You have to be great at problem solving. And Ethan, you were great at that. You were always really calm, but like very in tune with like everything that I needed. It was so awesome. And I think because we all have different strengths, like everyone in our group has different strengths, like we balanced each other out really well that day. And even like I was thinking about David and Colin pacing me, how different they are. It was like there's no way I could have had them switched. Like I needed David.
Everything was perfect.
I needed David for the first part, and I needed Colin for the second part. Like it was awesome.
I have to also give some serious credit to Colin too, just as someone who has run hundreds before and just kind of knew what to expect. Like she's going to roll in, she might roll into mile 30 really good and positive, but she might roll into 50 in a little bit rougher shape. So just be prepared for this and that. And I mean, his knowledge was deep.
Yeah.
As far as, hundreds is concerned, really helpful.
Yeah. He's
Billy,
good, and Colin is tough as nails too.
He's just like you.
Chopped his leg off, and he's like, "We're gonna finish. My leg's on the trail, but we're still finishing."
Billy, how was it for you, like the whole day? Because I know for us as crew, we're racing to get to the aid stations and set up camp and that kind of stuff. What was it like for you as a media guy filming the experience?
I'm not gonna kid you, it was tough. And I'm not talking about tough in the exhaustion part of it. I'm talking about just not being able to, like, put my hand in there and like pat her on the shoulder, or like dump something on her head, or like hand her a drink, or slap her on the butt, or actually I did do that. But you know what I mean. It's just that part of it was tough, but it was all worth it. I mean, people were exactly where they had to be, I think. If that makes any kind of sense, but the crew was always together, and I think that was the most important part.
Sally, do you have to go right now? There's a couple questions.
I can stay probably for like another 20 minutes.
Okay, cool. Cody Van Rokel in the chat room. Great show, guys. Sally, what's next for the rest? Cody! Sally, what's next for the rest? Oh, is he a SoCal guy? Nice.
Yeah. We run the same trails. Hi, Cody. Thanks so much for tuning in. You're awesome. And I can see his question right now.
Okay, cool. What's next for the rest of the year, and how will your schedule differ next year now that you don't have to run a Western States qualifier?
The rest of the year, what's coming up next is UROC at the beginning of September. It's 100K in Colorado. And then December, I plan to do the North Face 50 mile. In between there, I've thought about maybe doing a road marathon. We'll see. Doing road marathons is such a great way just to keep my fitness up. And I typically train for 50 milers like the same way I do for a road marathon. So that's so far is what's on the schedule. And as far as like next year not having to like qualify for a Western States spot, Nike, being sponsored by Nike, they definitely have like a list of recommended races that they would like us to run. So I'll probably I'll run probably like the same races that I did this year. I like the really competitive races, and I like really tough courses. So we'll see. But those are the two so far that I have.
Hey Sally, if you're looking for a marathon to do this year, I hear there's a great one on top. I think it starts from.
I know where you're going.
Tree flats. You know what? I'll get back to you with the details. It might be free. I don't know. But,
okay, so Billy's talking about pacing in the last section of Andrews Crest 100. It's his first 100-mile race.
Oh, it takes place the same weekend. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, look at that. But it is one of the toughest. It's one of the toughest hundreds around, and I love that course. I'm actually signed up to do it, but that was before that I knew I was going to run Western States. But I have committed to crew chief for him. I still haven't 100% committed to pace the last section. So everyone, that's why he's saying that.
The good news, Sally, is that if you do decide to pace him the last 26, I roll in when you will start. So crew chief duties could technically transfer, and
you don't have any experience. I mean, we need a crew chief with some experience crewing 100. Whoa.
The good news is that I don't have to do anything after I finish because I'll just see you at the finish line, unless I have to meet you at some point.
I have lots of crewing experience. What are you talking about?
No, I was talking.
Okay.
I was kidding about Ethan.
Lindsay Neufeld in the chat room says, Sally, how do you start out slow and not get too caught up in everything going on around you? I'm doing my first 50-miler at Sinister 7 this weekend.
That's a great question.
It is a great question because you know what? It's funny. You really have to be specific with your goals, I think, when asking that question, because you can talk to somebody that's like that is maybe like a top 5 finisher all the time, and for them to tell you, just start off slowly. Their slow might be like a 6:30 pace, like that, and somebody else's slow is like a 15-minute mile pace. So, what you really are trying to do is you need to race within yourself. It's very easy, and we see the best athletes in the world do this, just to start off too fast, and you redline right away, and then you kind of give a little bit away in the beginning, which you will then pay for later on in the race. So the best thing you can do, and especially in a 50-mile race, remind yourself at the start line that you're running 50 miles. You're not running a mile. Where you can actually just go out hard and fast from the start. So remind yourself, I'm running 50 miles, and a lot of times the race starts, it's the second half of the race. If you are looking to compete, you want to place in the top 3, or you want to be in the top 10, or you want to win an age award or something like that, generally, and I think even statistically, people that place in the top 10, they usually are in the top 10 from the get-go. Those places, everyone kind of settles in within like the first couple miles, and any change that happens is within the top 10. You don't see a lot of things happen in the back where they then attack the top 10. So
specifically with 50-mile races is what you're talking about.
Yeah. So yeah, 50-mile
yeah.
races. Yeah, and even in like in marathons too. I mean, the front runners are going to be the front runners for pretty much the whole time, and you'll see little changes happen within the front. Now, as far as like starting off slow, just what that means generally, again, it's just race within yourself. Listen to your breathing. Make sure that you're not, breathing really, really hard. You're not going out too fast. Trust your training that you did the training, and allow yourself to warm up for that first mile, and then begin to push it. My goal always is I want to be able to push hard in the last third of a race. Like, I want to run hard, but I also want to run strong. This is not a long training run that you're doing. So you're not going to start off a race the way that you would a training run, which is like casual, and you're still kind of like fixing stuff and just getting going. You are in a race, and so you're going to put forth your best effort, but you're going to put forth your hardest effort, a little bit later in the race. So save a little bit. You're going to go hard in the beginning, but save your best stuff for the end.
Yeah.
I will say that my first 50-mile, and Billy, I want to hear from you too, because I know your first 50 was a couple of years ago too. My first 50-miler, not being someone who would ever place top 3, I went into it having never run a distance longer than 31, 32 miles. So there's this whole unknown, this question of unknown of like that 18 miles, what would happen. So I did take it, not like a training run, but I took it easy on myself. It was the Leona Divide 50 last year, and I finished. My goal was all about finishing. So if your goal is all about finishing, just enjoy yourself, enjoy that journey. Try not to put yourself in a situation where you're not going to enjoy it, and that usually means going out too fast or running outside of your comfort zone too early. Like Sally said, save it for that last third. I tried to save energy for the last 10 miles of the race. I found that those last 10 miles I had no energy, and it was just lucky to get there. But it was a tough day, but it was a matter of just getting to the finish line. And I promise you, if that if your ultimate goal is just to do that, you can do it. You can absolutely do it. Billy, what was yours like?
My first 100?
50.
50. I haven't done 100 yet. 50, I mean, that's actually, Sally, that's where we first met. It was tough.
Yeah.
I think I had the same goals as you, is to just like get through and finish. And discovered a little something about me was that I had a bad day from basically the start till about mile 43. But I did have my friends out there, Colin and Josh and Kristen. They were nice enough to come out and help support me and cheer me on, so that was awesome. And you know, had a little bit in the tank for like the last 7 miles when I said, "Fuck this! I just want to get done," and was able to close, you know, pretty well considering it was my first 50, and really surprised myself in that regard. So. Yeah, you can have a race where you just, as long as you stay within yourself and you're not maybe pushing so hard and you're just suffering mentally, you can have, you know, a little bit left in the tank that you didn't think you had.
There's a question in here from Chris Holloway. What is recovery going to be like? Is PT necessary or just rest? Sally, yeah,
okay.
What's recovery happening for you?
Hey Chris, thanks for the comment, and I also see what your wife said. Thank you, Elizabeth. That's very sweet. As far as the knee goes, it's a little swollen. I actually went to I've been doing this for a couple weeks. It's called polar cryotherapy. It's like this big capsule that I step into, and it's dry ice. They pump in a bunch of like nitrogen gas into it, and I stand there in just my sports bra and running shorts, and it gets down, I think, to like -160 or -180 or something like that, and it just attacks the inflammation in my body, and that really, really helps a lot, helps me recover. So I did that today. This whole week I won't do any running this whole week. I've committed to doing that. I started committing that at the beginning of this year. Whenever I race the following week, I just rest. So I'm just gonna rest, and I'll stretch, and I'll maybe get on the foam roller. I might, you know, get in the pool or something like that. Try to eat really well. I get extra sleep. I do take naps. Just really try to take care of the body. The race in September, I mean, when it comes down to week-wise, it actually isn't that far away. So whatever happened with my knee, right now, I think it'll be okay. I don't think it was like a permanent injury or anything like that. I'll need to assess a little bit more what's going on with it. The few days after you run an ultra, whether, you know, 50 miles and up, especially after 100, your body's so inflamed. There's a lot going on inside that you're not aware of, even if, and I know some runners be like, I feel fine, I'm going to go for a run, but there's still a lot of healing that needs to happen, and so I really pay attention to that. So, and even massages, I won't even go get like a massage or anything. I just let it rest, let it heal, flush it out with water, flush it out with good food, sleep a lot, and then start doing some running probably next week. So.
Yeah, what's been your post-race indulgence since you finished the hundo? Like, what have you been eating?
My husband did bring me some donuts last night when he picked me up from the airport, so that was very, very sweet. Yes, I love donuts, but I pick and choose throughout the year when I am able to have them. So I've had some donuts, but like today I had green juice, I've had a green smoothie, and tons of water, and a lot of sleep. I've taken 2 naps today, and I slept for 7 hours through the night. So just really taking it easy. I take that seriously. I think it's why I can race hard when it's time, and why I can train hard is because I take the recovery really seriously.
Billy, are you recovered?
From this weekend?
Yeah, man.
No, man, I'm exhausted. I assume you are too.
Yeah, I tried to go for a run today, and I was telling Billy and Sally earlier, like, just going for a run today, and it felt like I ran 100 miles. I'm like, what is happening?
Aww, I know you got.
It's terrible. It's just.
Okay, crewing is exhausting. You guys didn't get any sleep,
and
people don't remember that. People don't realize that especially if you're a crew chief, it is so mentally exhausting, because you get in and you feel like, I know, and Ethan will do this. all the pressure's on you, and if I forget anything, it's my fault, you know, or if she doesn't have something she needs. And so you're like up here the whole entire day, and that's just as exhausting as the physical stuff. And then none of us slept. And then after the race, we didn't have a hotel. So it's not like we all got like great sleep and stuff like that. So you guys deserve a vacation, all of you.
I take a vacation every day. I just so happen to have that ability. So I did get some good sleep last night. I remember getting back from the airport at like 9:30, 9:45, and as the second I walked through my bedroom door, I was down on the bed. I slept in my clothes. I woke up this morning at, I don't know, 10:30 or 11. It was just solid sleep. Absolutely nothing bumped me or anything. So that was definitely good. But I'm still walking around today like sore. Like, why am I sore? I have a feeling I'm sore from sprinting up the hill to Green Gate because you were rolling in so fast that I just like booked it. So going from like sitting in a car for hours to booking it up a hill it did something to me. But we had the easy job. I just had to drive a lot. So there were times when I was just like driving and like doing this type of thing, and you just have to stay focused and get people to where they needed to be and do all that kind of thing.
And it really wasn't all that laborious as we're making it sound. We really did have a great time and appreciated each other's company throughout the week, and we had moments of that for sure. And kind of rubbing elbows with our SoCal contingent, who was also there to race, and other crew members and some of the elites. So it was all in all just like a great fun weekend. It was just very, very substantive.
It was a great weekend in the sense that we kind of had this, we didn't really talk about it during the live show, but this community, the ultra running community, came together.
Yeah.
I mean, people who I don't get to see all that often, like Yassine Daboon, who has been on the show and who I met at Gorge, and like seeing him there, and every time he'd come through an aid station, he'd yell at me, "Keep pumping, man," which is what I yelled at him at Gorge, and Jorge Maravilla and Brett Rivers, like Brett Rivers' story from the race is incredible. I mean,
shout out to Brett.
Shout out to Brett.
Yeah, fifth place. The men's field was so deep. It could have gone to like 20 guys.
I think he was ninth. He was ninth, Sally, I think. In the top
he was
10.
ninth.
Oh, sorry.
Brett finished ninth.
Sorry.
But I would say the guys' field
Still amazing.
It's still amazing. You can't look at the top 10. You got to look at the top 20, because the top 20 guys that finished, any one of them could have won on that day, just given certain circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Dom did great. He rallied from a terrible first 30 miles. Like seeing him come through mile 30, he was just like not happy. He wasn't in his happy place. But he rallied somewhere in there and completely decimated a lot of the guys. Jesse Haynes, like, oh my God, Jesse finished 10th, top 10. Brett and Jorge.
Chris Price,
incredible. It was really, really cool to see people that we know, we're friends with down here, and see them perform so well on such a global stage. It was really neat. What was your favorite part of the weekend, Sally?
The favorite part, oh man. Honestly, the first aid station that I came into, Michigan Bluff, and wait, can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Out of the entire weekend was the first aid station that I came into, and it was overwhelming. I almost started crying. I couldn't believe how many people were there. But coming in and seeing the whole crew and watch all you guys work, I mean, it was adorable. And all you guys like focused on what I needed. Like I remember even thinking as I left, like, I wish that I could video this for all their wives, because they would be so proud of them. Like, they're like focusing on my needs. Like, this is a really good thing. I mean, it was. Ethan, I told Kim that today, because Kim left me like a really, really sweet message, and I'm like, Ethan is gonna make the most amazing husband. I mean, I'm amazing fiance already, but amazing husband too. You guys were very, very dialed in, but it was just so it was adorable. that moment, it just brought me a lot of joy, but humor too. Like in the middle of this like intense race, and to see all you guys like moving around. Okay, what do you need? And taking my pack and rubbing tire balm on my legs and putting ice in my buff and making sure I was getting my food and go Sally go. I mean, it was just great. I enjoyed that so much. And then I think even at the airport last night was just so great. I looked around for a minute. All of us were like on our phone, you know, like exhausted. You know, we got these late night flights. I don't know what we were thinking, getting 10 o'clock flights out, but we're sitting in that corner, you know, at the airport where there's nobody, and we have our legs up and our eyes are all tired, and we're, you know, we're all on our phone doing stuff, and I'm like, it's over, like it's done, and we're still all just the same normal people doing the same things, and I'm here with my friends, and it's just another, like, check that off the list of the many adventures that that we've been able to share together, and it was just a very full feeling. I just, you know, this excitement, and then it's like, bam, here we go, just move on to the next thing, and so those are my two favorite.
What about you, Billy? What was your favorite moment?
It has to be Green Gate. That moment when you go from just I don't want to say feeling down, but just like we're going through the motions where, you know, we want to be there for Sally, and we're just kind of very kind of complacent, and then all of a sudden just this adrenaline spike when Sally and Dave comes rushing through, and you know, David collapses. I look over at him, and he's in tears, and he's emotional, and it got me emotional, and the rest of the night I was like super emotional, just thinking about reliving that moment over and over again, and thinking about how much she rallied, and how much you know, that fire, and that Sally that I know, who is just, I know she's giving it her all, and she's in great hands with Colin from that point on. It was just like everything about that race, like that led up to that moment, was absolutely worth it, the good and bad. So that was absolutely, without no question, my favorite moment. And sharing a bed with Vargo, that was good times.
I was gonna say, we can't forget the fact that you shared a bed and bathroom with Vargo.
Yeah.
How was that? How was that experience, sharing the bed with an elite mountain crushing master?
I think the only crushing we were doing was ass that entire weekend. It was God. I mean, I won't embarrass anyone with stories from the condo, but man, there was a lot of good memories and fun memories from that weekend. Vargo, of course, contributed to that, and we all had a good time. But yeah, just when I think back on it, I will first and foremost remember Green Gate.
I agree. I would say that's my fondest memory, because yeah, I agree. We weren't complacent, or we weren't like down. It was just kind of like we were just kind of all business at that point. Like, we knew what we needed to do, we were ready to do it, and we were expecting things to happen in a certain way. But then when you see this surge of energy and see this surge of positivity and see how things have changed so completely, almost a complete 180, it just gets you right back in the game.
Yeah.
And it was such a cool moment. Like, I haven't felt something like that in a really long time, where you're just kind of going about your tasks, needing to do what you needed to do, and then all of a sudden everything's changed on this, like, on the flip of a dime. All your expectations and your plan that you had kind of taken a couple hours to kind of lay out, because we had gone and had dinner in this amount of time, because we hadn't eaten all day, so we needed to go to a restaurant to grab a bite to eat and then get back out to Green Gate. So we managed our time pretty well, and we're really quick about it. But then all the planning that we did at dinner was like, well, that's out the window. We got to get to the next aid station because, oh my God, things have changed. Like, we went from kind of tired and complacent to just everything has shifted. It was really neat, really cool. So thanks for doing that, Sally. Thanks for getting strong.
Thanks for making it dramatic. Making us nervous the rest of the night.
I know.
I can't tell you how many times in the car we were like, so wait, if she does this, she could possibly get 8th and then 7th, and oh, well, we got to watch out for this girl to do that and do that.
I love it. I love hearing this.
We can't
I'm hearing this for the first time.
At Highway 49, we can't tell you how many people we were bugging for splits. You know, people who actually had reception. We were like, can we check your phone again? Because
I love it.
yeah.
And one of the girls you had
Love
passed,
it.
her crew was there waiting for her. So we're kind of like talking. So because Dave was telling us like, yeah, we passed some blonde girl and she did this and that and she just passed them like she didn't look very good. So Sally just like ran on by, and we didn't realize that other people's crews are around us.
And they're really
like,
sensitive to that.
Yeah, totally. Like,
Yeah.
Did you say
Gotta
her
be
hair was
careful.
blonde? And we're like, oh well, she was really good though. She was really strong.
Yeah. Okay, what are all the positive things we could say?
One of the positive things. She's really
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah. Rad kid. Racing
Everyone's in the same boat there, though. Everyone wants to know what's happening with their runner.
It's an emotional experience for everybody. Yeah, especially that race, that platform. Everyone is very in tune with it. That's so funny to hear that too for the first time.
Geek with the side of nerd, and Sydney after that shortly. First, Geek wrote, even if I don't ever run 100, you guys make me want to crew and volunteer. Sounds amazing. Do it. You absolutely have to do it. It is you'll never feel more like a part of a team than when you crew and volunteer or pace. It is all your focus shifts to that runner, and it is a complete and utter amazing journey from start to finish. So do it. You, Sydney, all of you guys, if you have an opportunity, do it.
I agree. Totally agree. And you get to experience moments like this right here.
You guys, oh no! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! I can't believe you're showing that.
But Sally, basically what you said was, I don't think I've ever run that hard in my life. I can't feel my legs.
I was freezing too. I had like 3 blankets on me. My body was so done. It was literally like, hi, I'm done. I'm not warming up or giving you anything anymore. You are mean to me.
I regret not panning that camera around, because that camera or that room is like this tent at the finish line where runners can go and really take a load off, lay down, have a doctor look at them if they need it. They can have their crew like take care of them and wrap them in blankets and do whatever they need. But you pan around that room, you look around, and you see some of the top runners in the world. I believe Arbogast was right across from you.
Yeah, she was.
And she was just spent. She had finished, I think, 2 places ahead of you or 1 place ahead of you. And she was like sleeping and barely able to kind of like get in fetal position. And you see these elites just the carnage. Just the carnage of a 100-mile race and what happens. And I guess it was the same with the men's field too. There's a great picture that Debo posted today. Debo got 3rd, which is incredible. Just an amazing.
Yeah, he did awesome.
It was him like praying to the garbage can gods, just obviously yakking into a garbage can after he finished, but just the carnage around him in that picture, and like some of the pictures you've seen are just guys laying on the grass, completely sleeping within seconds of crossing the finish line. It's just nuts. It's nuts. Yeah. Well, I think we should wrap up the post show, guys, because we've gone entirely too long tonight. I'm keeping these people from their families and from masturbating. That's Billy. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's terrible.
I tell you off the line.
So I have to thank all of you guys who've been watching live for the duration of this. I'll get it up in podcast form very soon, probably in the next couple of days, because I think this one is one of my favorites. I teared up during it. I know Sally teared up during it. I'm sure Billy did. It's such a great experience. So thank you for watching. Sally, thank you for having us up there and letting us participate in the adventure with you. It was
thank you guys. I love you guys.
Love you. Any last words, Sally or Billy? Sally, any last words?
Just thank you. The whole weekend, that's what was going through my head. Always remain grateful and thankful. There's always a million things that every person on this planet can be grateful for, no matter where we are. And I think that being at the Western States weekend, which is like a dream for many people, it's easy just to be like, I'm so stoked to be here. But I think in every moment, looking around at like my crew, at you guys, and just being so grateful for you guys, I just thank you so much. And I'm thankful that both my legs are still attached to my body.
Yeah, see, there you go. There you go. Best experience in the world, Sally. We can't wait for 2015. Can't wait to
Yes. I can't wait.
And Billy, any last words from you, my friend?
Nope. I'm sick of talking. I'm done talking.
Okay, cool.
Rest. I want to eat. Yeah.
Yeah, me too, actually. Dinner time. Dave Daly, any last words? I just had such a pleasure. Sally, it was such a great experience to take her through that river and Boston. Boston. Yeah, this is so fun.
Aww.
And Colin, any last words? No last words. But Game of Thrones is on starting in 6 months. Sunday nights on HBO. So enjoy. That's it. I hope you guys enjoy.
What the hell is doing?
So enjoy, yes? So enjoy. Such a great night, such a great reliving of Western States 100. Sally McRae, 10th female overall, an automatic invitation to 2015's Western States. Sally, where's the belt buckle? Where's the buckle?
Yeah. Believe it or not, I was able to keep it out of Billy's sight long enough. But here is. I said that I was going to pass it around that each crew member could have it for a week.
Oh, amazing!
But there it is.
That is the most beautiful buckle ever. It really is.
Yeah. Can you guys able to see it? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are you sure? Yeah.
All handmade by craftsmen up in NorCal. Hopefully one day all of our SoCal crew will have a belt buckle that we can all wear to a belt buckle party.
Yes.
So thank you guys for watching live. Very much appreciate it. Don't forget to follow me at the Ginger Runner, and of course Ginger Runner on Facebook, and subscribe to this YouTube channel and all that good stuff. I hope tonight's show inspired you, not necessarily run a 100-mile race or not necessarily to run an ultra, but to inspire you to do anything, because anything is absolutely possible. And that is probably the most cliche line I could end a show with. Anything is possible, guys. But it's true, and this weekend absolutely proved it to me. All right, we'll see you guys next week for Ginger Runner Live at 6 p.m. Pacific on Monday. All right, bye, guys.